You want to know why downsizing and minimalism can be so tough? It's because you're lying. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to others. So I'm going to break down why honesty is one of the keys in developing a minimalist lifestyle. I'm Dara. I help people live a more minimalist lifestyle so they can focus on what matters most without getting overwhelmed along the way. If you'd like to learn more about how to live a simpler life, stay tuned for more videos like this one. To stop lying, you need to identify when you're lying and why you're lying. That's the toughest part. Then the cascading effects and decisions you'll need to make become a little bit easier, and they all lead toward a more minimalist lifestyle and a more mindful one too. Let me give you a few examples, just a few, of when you are probably lying. And I'm just going to ask you to take a really honest look at yourself and think about whether any or all of these apply to you. You accept a gift that someone gives you, but that you don't want. You say, I'll organize that later, I'll do that later, but you really have no plan or true intention to do so. You say, oh, I'm gonna work on that project, and so you keep all of the supplies related to the project, but again, you have no plan to do it and you are not prioritizing it at all. This leads to when you say anything is a priority, but you don't prioritize it. You just want to believe it's a priority, either because it really is deep down inside and you're just not making the effort to prioritize it in your life, or you want to believe it's a priority, and that's the true lie. You say that you want to have a really, really downsized, organized home, but you actually thrive in the chaos. You just don't know how to balance the two. Or you really do want to be more organized and the chaos is covering up a certain loneliness that you have, and you're afraid, deep down you're afraid that with less stuff around you, with less chaos around you, you'll feel empty. Or maybe you're lying about something that I didn't mention, and this is a great time to admit it. Oftentimes we lie about something for understandable reasons. And that's why it can get buried and can feel a little bit convoluted. Some reasons that we might be lying to ourselves include trouble letting go of the past. We might want to come up with a reason for keeping something, but the truth is we just don't want to let go of the past that it represents. So we'll come up with a million different excuses, but we're not really admitting to ourselves that we have difficulty letting go. You might have difficulty discerning who you are versus who you want to be versus how you want to be perceived by others. And sometimes this sort of identity crisis that happens under the covers is a form of lying. So I might want to say, oh, I am a very blank person, and in order to live that lie, I have to do X, Y, and Z. This can be incredibly problematic because how in the world are you supposed to downsize and organize your things if you don't even know who you are or you're not willing to fully admit to who you are? And again, this often comes because we want to be somebody else, and we can be that other person. We can continue to grow, but acknowledging who we are today and then identifying that aspirational self is a really important distinction to make. Why do we lie? Well, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. That's a very good reason, right? Well, sort of. It's a really great thing that you care about other people's feelings and that you're willing to make an effort to show that you care. But doing things like accepting gifts that you don't really want or need, or accepting things onto your calendar that you don't really want to do, all of those types of things are lying. You're saying yes when you mean no. And that does not help somebody else because you might start to resent them, you might be annoyed with them, but you've never actually honestly told them how you felt. And it also might mean that there's an issue in that relationship that really does need to be addressed. Oftentimes it really is better for someone to know the truth. They want to know the truth. And even though you don't want to hurt their feelings, what you also really don't want is the uncomfortable feeling that comes with saying a truth. And so keep that in mind, that you're not just looking to help somebody else, but you're actually doing that because you are uncomfortable being honest. And these social situations can be very uncomfortable. Lying to yourself that, oh, I just want to do everything for everybody else and say yes to everything because I want to be a great person, that's not being a great person if it's not entirely based on truth. And you might need to spend some time deciding what it is you really do want. And then find the most kind and considerate way to convey that to others. So that leads us into how to stop lying strategies. I was just talking about how you can still be kind while telling people the truth. So one strategy is having difficult conversations. You might find that practicing the conversations or writing out your thoughts is helpful, but you do want to make sure that in your relationships you're always being honest. And this really has so much to do with the minimalist lifestyle, because this is how we end up with a lot of things that we don't want, because we're taking things from others, we're accepting things from others. And then also in terms of our calendars and our to-do lists, we're saying yes to things where we really want to say no. So have those difficult conversations. They get easier, I promise. I've had a lot of them. Another way to stop lying is actually to track some of this information so that you see what's really going on. So sometimes we lie to ourselves. If you think about, let's say, dieting, people would be like, oh yeah, I ate healthy all week. But if you actually tracked how many calories you were consuming, you'd realize that maybe you weren't actually sticking to your healthy eating habits. Tracking can be very useful in minimalism too. If you're saying, oh, I don't spend money, I don't know where it's all going, well, make sure that you have a financial tracking system in place. If you are saying, oh, I need to keep this because I love going hiking, so I need these hiking shoes, and then you track how many times you go hiking in a year, and guess what? You only went once. So are you being honest with yourself about how much you love hiking, or do you just want to be someone who hikes, and when you happen to go hiking, you have a nice time, but it's not one of your priorities? Be honest with yourself, and tracking is a great way to do that. Mindfulness and journaling will help you focus on where you're lying to yourself and why, and they're a strategy for stopping. Because you'll really be able to reflect on these events, you'll be able to work through the emotions involved, because it's usually not about the stuff, it's not about what calendar system you use, it's about all of these inputs, all of these feelings and emotions. So in the end, it's that old adage, honesty is the best policy. Minimalism uncovers all of the ways we knowingly, but mostly unknowingly, lie to ourselves. And by figuring out when and why we do, we can employ strategies to stop lying. For more information about minimalism and making your life easier, please subscribe and click the bell to be notified when a new video releases.